Welcome to Dead Giveaway. I'm Billy.
And I'm Carly.
This is a two-part podcast. In episode 1, I will tell a true story, but change the names and locations to try and see if my true crime-obsessed wife can discover the truth.
In part 2, Billy reveals the answers, and we will discuss the details of the case. Will I get it wrong, or will it be a dead giveaway?
Hello and welcome back after a long-awaited hiatus.
Yeah. What day is this?
What year is it?
Sorry, we've had a rough couple of weeks.
It hasn't been rough, it's just been busy.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And we
So-
honestly were both just like, screw it.
Yeah. Sorry about
So,
that.
yeah.
Not that we don't love you, we do, but
No, you guys are awesome. And we've had steady downloads while we were taking a break, so that's awesome.
nice.
Florida, you are amazing. You are really just, I don't know what it is about us that you just can't quit, but thank you. Like, man, it's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
So, internationally, Vietnam is
Really?
up there. Yeah. We've had over a dozen downloads
Wow.
from Vietnam, so that's pretty cool. And Hong Kong.
That might be that girl you follow from that Overseas Bride website.
Oh, it's been on back order, so maybe that's why. God, that was terrible. Yeah, so we got Florida, Wisconsin, and New Jersey
Nice.
up in the top. You guys are freaking phenomenal. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for listening and for what I hope is enjoying the show. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess you guys have waited long enough for another episode. They're like, can you please stop talking
Yeah.
and just get into it?
Well, we stalled out right there at our 10th episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, number 10. Wow. I cannot believe
Sorry.
how unprofessional you are right this
I literally
second.
have had my phone on silent since like 1998. I don't even know what that noise was.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Wow. Okay. All right. We're going to get into this. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. At
Shock
around,
me.
Y'all can't see it, but I'm flashing her right this second.
Okay.
That didn't even phase you. Wow.
I know. I didn't
Man.
even blink.
I don't think there's anything I can do that would shock you at this point.
This is true.
Gross you out. Yes.
Oh, every day.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's good. Still got it, ladies. All right. At around 8:10 in the morning, what should have been a routine store opening turned into something else. Employees arrived at Summit Trail Outfitters, an outdoor retail store located in a mid-sized shopping center that's just outside the small town of Red Wing, Minnesota. It was the kind of place that served a very specific customer base. Hunting gear, camping equipment, cold weather supplies, knives, rope, climbing hardware,
Yeah.
duct tape.
Outdoorsy mountains people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. The kind of inventory that reflects the area that it's in. So Red Wing isn't isolated, but it's not a high traffic city either. People know the businesses they go to. They recognize employees. Most interactions are routine. Nothing about the store or its location suggests elevated risk,
Okay.
right? Fairly mundane, fairly routine. The population's like 16,000, so pretty
Yeah.
small.
And they probably have pretty regular people in and out of it.
Exactly. So when employees pulled into the lot that morning, the first thing that they noticed was that the doors were still locked. That on its own didn't immediately stand out. Sometimes the opening manager ran late. Sometimes someone is inside but just hasn't opened the doors yet.
So it's supposed to be open when they got there.
Right.
Okay.
But they waited because
Not
this
super worried.
isn't
Yeah.
completely out of the norm.
Sure.
You know, maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 at most that
I've
they
been
open
there.
late. Right, exactly. So one of them checked their phone. Another walked closer to the glass and looked in. At first, nothing moved. Then one of them said they thought they heard something. It wasn't clear enough to identify, though. Not loud enough to be super obvious, but it was enough to make them stop and listen again, this time more intently. This time, though, they didn't hear it again. Still, something didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So they called management.
Always trust your gut.
A key holder was contacted, and after a short delay, access to the store was open. Right, or the store was open, sorry. When they stepped inside, the front of the store didn't immediately confirm anything was wrong. The lights were still off. The displays were intact. Nothing appeared out of place. It looked like the store had simply never been opened. But as they moved further inside toward the back, that changed. In a storage room behind the main prep area, they found one of the employees.
Oh.
He was alive, but his wrists were secured behind his back with heavy-duty zip ties, the same kind sold in the store. He was sitting upright against the wall, not collapsed, not laying down. Conscious, barely, slightly responsive. He was just very, very disoriented.
Okay.
At first, he didn't speak. He looked at them, trying to process who was standing in front of him. Then he started talking. He said 2 men had come into the store after closing the night before. He said they didn't say much, said that they became aggressive almost immediately. He told them both he and the supervisor had been attacked. He said that he was restrained early in the encounter and couldn't do anything after that. Then he told them that the supervisor was still inside.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So
this person's been there all night.
Yes,
Oh,
they
geez.
both were.
Okay.
Yeah. They found him a short distance away near the tool bench in the back prep area. A male employee, late 20s. He was the shift supervisor who was supposed to open the store that morning. He had sustained multiple injuries, right? Even without a detailed examination, the extent of the violence was clear. This was not a single strike. This was not a brief confrontation. It was repeated. There were signs that different objects had been used at different points during the attack. Investigators would later confirm that multiple tools from within the store had been used, items that were already present in the workspace.
So that seems more spontaneous than planned.
Well,
Okay.
you would think, right?
Yeah.
It seems like that.
Yeah.
Nothing had been brought in. Everything had been used from within the store.
Which could have been part of the plan.
Nothing appeared to have been taken out of place except what had been used.
Okay.
So the layout of the store...
Wait, so nothing was stolen?
Nothing was stolen.
Oh.
Nothing. Well, they mean like nothing was brought in.
Oh, I see.
To
Okay.
kill and
Right.
beat.
Like
the
they weren't planning on
supervisor, right.
murdering someone or... Okay,
They
anyways,
didn't bring
yeah.
any outside tools
Gotcha.
in. It was all things that were right there,
Okay.
readily available. The layout of the store became an important part of understanding what happened. Summer Trail Outfitters wasn't a large space, but it was dense. From the front entrance, most of the retail floor was visible. Clothing racks, equipment, displays, and shelving were arranged in a way that made the space feel open. But toward the back, the store narrowed into a more functional area. A prep station for equipment, a tool bench, a storage room, and the area where the 2 employees were found was contained with limited visibility from the front. So based on the scene, the incident didn't stay in one place. There were signs of movement between the prep area and the tool bench, back and forth, not really scattered. It was very directed.
So they like had a clear path that they were going.
Yes. And so
just to clarify,
yeah.
the supervisor, he's dead.
Yes.
So the one's tied up and alive, the other one's dead.
Yes. The
Okay.
other employee was knocked unconscious.
Okay.
Not okay.
Had some injuries, but-
very
okay.
disoriented, but the supervisor is
dead.
Dead.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the workbench, investigators found a standard set of tools used for routine store operations. Right. Utility knives, multi-tools, there was hammers, etc. And then they found, things that are sold in the store, right? They have hatchets. They've got, specific rope cutting tools, They've got adjusting equipment for minor repairs, a lot of the outdoor equipment that just takes not necessarily special tools, but these tools are specific to that. They found several of those items, and several of those items showed signs of use consistent with the assault. So investigators immediately take note of this detail
Okay.
because it suggests the person responsible didn't rely on a singular weapon.
Yeah.
And it also told investigators that they remained in the space, selecting different tools, and continued a process that took
the
a
assault.
lot
Yeah.
of time.
Yeah. So they either, one, in my head, I'm just thinking it out, one, it was spontaneous and it wasn't planned, so they had to grab what they could, or they knew where they were going and they knew those things would be available to them.
That would make sense,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
either or could
Right.
be, yeah. Then investigators focused on the floor. There was blood, and within it, visible impressions,
Oh,
boot prints,
okay.
and very large ones.
That's helpful.
And these boot prints were consistent with outdoor footwear.
Right.
And they tracked through the back portion of the store from the prep area toward the front and then back again. The pattern suggested movement, obviously not just a single path, right?
Yeah.
And so this indicated that the person was pacing. Maybe they were, having a conversation with the two while they were tied up, pacing back and forth, with the other employee, not both.
Yeah.
Sorry, the supervisor, obviously, blood was on the floor. It was his.
Yeah.
The pacing back and forth could have been,
who knows? Could have been panic,
right.
Could have been planning, could have been negotiation. I don't know. Yeah.
But the weird thing is that when investigators followed the impressions toward the entrance, they just stopped. There was
they didn't go back outside?
There was no continuation outside.
Oh.
No transfer onto the concrete, no indication of an exit. At the time, that didn't immediately point to a conclusion, but it definitely created a problem.
Oh, yeah, that's weird, too, because you said that when they got there, the doors were locked.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay.
Right, and they had to call another supervisor
to open it.
To come unlock it, right? Exactly.
So how'd they get out?
Right. So the surviving employee repeated his account as responders and later investigators spoke with him. 2 men entered after closing. He said they were aggressive right away. He said they focused on the supervisor. He said he was restrained early and couldn't see everything that happened afterward. He described them in general terms, large, male, but beyond that, there were definite gaps. He couldn't describe clothing clearly. He couldn't distinguish features, couldn't explain how they entered the building.
Well, he did have a head injury, didn't he?
Well, yes, and he couldn't explain how they left, right? Mm-hmm. And so a lot of this going back to they found him very disoriented.
Yeah. But also red flags.
Well, yeah, as from an investigative standpoint, it's, okay, you're locking up with your supervisor. The doors are locked after closing.
Yeah. But also head injury mixed with fear and confusion and everything that's going on.
Right.
Like, so I'm sure that happens sometimes.
Well, and think about it too. Like you're bound, locked up all night. And so who knows what he really remembers, right? So as investigators began working backward, they focused on one detail that stood out early. Neither employee was supposed to be inside the store that late. Both had left at the end of their shift.
Oh?
That part was confirmed. So the question became, why were they there?
Yeah.
Right?
That's weird.
Very. So the answer came from the surviving employee. He told investigators he had forgotten a personal item and needed to get back inside the store. So he called the supervisor, asked to meet him there. Supervisor returned, unlocked the door, let him in, then secured the door behind them. And that placed both men inside a locked building after hours. There was no customers, no other staff, no oversight. And the supervisor just went there to help him. I think it was a wallet or something that he forgot. And,
so it could have been like a burglary that they were thinking, nobody's going to be there. We can get in, get what we want, and get out.
Right.
And then they ended up coming back.
They freak out.
Yeah, exactly. That would make sense.
Investigators started breaking that timeline down into smaller pieces. What time was the call made? How long did it take for the supervisor to arrive? How long were they inside before anything happened? And those answers were not immediately clear.
Yeah.
But what was clear was that the scene itself suggested more time than the account did.
Yeah.
The number of tools used, the movement within the store,
right,
the condition of the area, all of it pointed to something that wasn't instantaneous. This took an exorbitant amount of time.
Right.
So as investigators spoke with the other employees, small details started to emerge. Not direct accusations, just things that they kind of remembered throughout the day. And one of those details involved a former employee, someone who had been let go a few weeks earlier, right?
Okay.
People described this situation as extremely tense, a little awkward, and kind of took some time to get over. There had been a disagreement with the supervisor before this employee was terminated. It was not physical and not documented beyond the internal notes that were part of, why this employee was let go. But enough that when his name came up, people didn't dismiss it. He had worked in the same back area. He obviously knew the layout of the store, knew where the tools were kept. And when the investigators spoke to him, he said he had been home for the night alone. But yet
so
there
nobody
was
to corroborate.
Yeah, no one to confirm it.
Okay. I mean, makes sense. He would, like you said, he would know what was available at the store to use as a weapon, or if he went there with the plan to, get payback and rob the store and take things, and then got surprised by them showing back up and freaked out and started attacking.
Well, yeah, especially if there had been prior confrontation, so this person was stewing.
Yeah. Although, if I were that person, I would be worried that the employee you left alive would know who you were.
Unless you think the blow over the head is enough to kill him.
That's
right?
true. That's true.
That could be...
They could not realize that they made it. Okay. That's
exactly.
True.
So at the same time, investigators learned about a customer who had been in the store shortly before closing. This was a regular, someone who spent time there. They knew the staff by name, a lot of them, and was very familiar with the inventory. Employees described him as knowledgeable but difficult. That night, there had been some kind of a disagreement at the counter, just something real minor, a return, a piece of equipment that the guy just wasn't happy with. And, this is an enthusiast who...
Very passionate.
Very passionate, not necessarily passionate, but very analytical, very, knowledgeable. So it's kind of, talking down to the employees.
Yeah.
But nothing escalated beyond just the tension of the conversation, right?
Okay.
But enough that multiple people remembered it later.
And
this is
brought it up,
another
bring
instance,
it up. Yeah.
right? And he left right before closing. And when investigators looked into his movements that night, parts of his timeline weren't clearly accounted for.
Okay.
Then there was activity outside the building. A contractor had been working in the shopping center that night, working on exterior lighting, doing maintenance work. His logs placed him on site during the same general time frame, but there was a gap. It wasn't very long, like less than an hour, and he said he had stepped away to retrieve equipment from his truck. He didn't account for the exact time that he was away, and it didn't place him inside the store, obviously, but it did place him nearby.
Did anybody have feet the size of the shoe prints that they found?
No.
No? Okay.
No. So despite those developing threads, investigators kept returning to the same issue of no forced entry, no damage, no indication that anyone had broken into the building, and the footprints still didn't lead anywhere.
Yeah. Like I could see they maybe took their shoes off when they left the store so they wouldn't leave a trail, but then how'd the door get locked?
Right. So 2 individuals entered the store. They had to come through the door. And if they left, there should have been evidence of that, but there clearly wasn't. Then there was the difference between the 2 employees. The supervisor had sustained extensive injuries. The surviving employee had relatively minor ones.
Right.
He had been restrained.
Right.
But otherwise, he was physically able to speak, move, and provide an account, obviously later.
Right.
At that point, investigators didn't draw conclusions from that difference, but they didn't ignore it either.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it clearly looks like there was some sort of intent on the supervisor.
Right. And it could have been if, say, it was the former employee and he's mad at the supervisor because he got fired, but doesn't really want to hurt the other person because they didn't really have anything to do with it.
Exactly. So the same questions continue to kind of compile, right?
Yeah.
Why was there no forced entry? Why did the footwear impressions stop inside the building?
Right.
Why did the scene suggest a prolonged interaction while the account suggested a brief one? And why even return to the store at all?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So 2 employees leave for the work for the night. One of them calls the other back. They entered a locked building, and at some point, something inside happens.
Right.
One of them is killed. The other survives and provides the only account. There are multiple possible explanations, right? So it's got to be somebody with access, maybe somebody with conflict. Could have been somebody nearby.
Yeah.
But none of those fully explain what happened inside the store. And then as investigators focus on the detail that continues to stand out is how anyone entered that building in the first place. Right? Because there's no indication they forced their way in, which suggests that they didn't need to.
Maybe the former employee had a key.
It could be, right? So there's a lot of things there.
Yeah.
So
contractor could possibly have access to buildings
So the key detail that also stands out is the only DNA at the scene
is the victim.
Is all of the employees, right? And so heavily, obviously, the supervisor's DNA is everywhere.
Right.
But so is everybody else's. They handle tools. They're working in the
inventory,
store all day
cash,
long. Right. But they don't find any unknown DNA at all.
Right. Which isn't unheard of, but
Right.
it is strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Okay. Is that it?
So right now, investigators are at a stalemate with where to go.
Yeah.
They have a short list of suspects. They've got, a real bloody crime scene. They don't know how many tools were exactly used because blood splatter was everywhere, and so they have to go through a lot to say definitively these things were used in the actual murder of the supervisor.
Right.
And you got to think about all three suspects that have gaps in their timelines and their stories, and
potential motive,
and you got to think about the disappearing footprints, like who wore those large boots,
large men's boots.
Yeah, and the impressions were, legit, right? So they're looking at these footprints and they're following them, and they can see it slowly
check
fading.
to make sure they weren't able to get out through the ceiling, like some kind of
that was
that
way
one
too high.
movie we watched where the guy hid in the Toys R Us.
Yes, no,
whatever.
Yeah, what was that?
What was
it? Was the rooftop.
Yeah.
It's with Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
and it was so good.
Yeah, and he just lives inside this hidden area inside the store for a long time.
I think he was robbing McDonald's.
That's right. He was robbing McDonald's, but living in like a Walmart or a Sam's or a Toys R Us or something.
It was a Toys R Us. Yeah. And he was living behind this display.
Yeah. Just had a little bed and a little camping area.
It was a crazy story.
And it's so true. And it's true. Oh, sorry. That was a total tangent. But I'm just thinking
if you guys haven't seen that movie, go watch it. It is so good.
And it's based on a true story. So that makes it even crazier.
Yeah.
But,
super crazy.
But anyways, what I was getting at was if he could have escaped through a ceiling panel or something like that.
No, I mean, so there was rooftop access, but it was from the outside.
Okay,
right?
so not
so
one
nothing
of those that
in
you
this
could push up and climb up into.
Right. So it's a shopping center, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about the shopping centers here, some of them are kind of tailor made around some of these types of stores.
Yeah, they don't have the false ceilings and all that.
Right. So the other ones kind of are a little bit lower on the ceiling. This one had high ceilings, like 30, 40 feet, because they had kayaks hanging.
Oh, yeah. Sporting goods.
That makes sense. Goods that were there. And so they're, again, not direct access from inside.
Okay.
But again, the back door and the front door, neither one showed forced entry, and both were locked.
Yeah, I have my guess unless you have more information
go
for
ahead.
me. Okay, I think it was the employee that was tied up all night and still conscious, and I also think I know what case this is.
Oh, boy. We're going to see.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Again, thanks for coming back to listen to us after our hiatus.
Yes.
And
we're glad you're still hanging in there with us.
Yes, you guys are awesome. Follow us on socials, Dead Giveaway Podcast. Across the board, you can email us, deadgiveawaypodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And
this episode's coming out a day early, but the next one will come out.
Well, no, this one's not coming out a day early. It's coming out 2 days late.
I mean late. That's what I mean.
Yes.
2 days late, but the next one will still come out on Thursday. So sorry, it'll be back to back. But
yeah, we're doing a back to back. That's fine.
We'll
if you
get
guys
back on track
actually
next week.
If you actually like that format, let us know.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to be able to get the answer right away.
Right, just go back.
I know when I listen to Dateline, I'm just waiting for the Talking Dateline episode to come out.
Do you have any shows that you've been listening to that you want to shout out that are pretty good? Any other?
Well, actually, yeah, it's Andrea Canning has a. I don't know if you guys like to keep up with just current cases that are going on and stuff like that, but I am loving. It's called Dateline True Crime Weekly, and it's just a weekly update on different court cases and things like that Dateline has been following, and they follow all the cases, so they'll tell you where they're at in the trial. When the verdict comes in, you get updates on that, new discoveries and stuff. It's pretty cool because it's kind of like all the podcasts, all the true crime podcasts that you listen to when you hear all the stories. This is extra information
that's
it's
cool.
pretty cool following them all the way through the court hearings and all of that. So
dang, that's pretty extensive.
I like it. And of course, you know me, I love Andrea Canning.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the name again?
Oh, I just put it up.
Just so everybody gets it one more time.
It's True Crime Weekly.
True Crime Weekly.
It's on Dateline. It's on the Dateline
so I mean wherever
podcasts.
you're listening to podcasts, you can find it. So
I
that's
listen
cool.
to all things
definitely check it out.
So.
And so, the last episode we did, I had a single come out, And this one, I've actually got another one coming out. So it'll be
Yes.
available this Friday.
And it's really good.
It
You should
is
give them a little bit of backstory on your granddad.
I was just about to do that.
Okay.
Thank you so
Sorry
much.
about that.
That is a great idea. I will do that. That is
You're
amazing.
welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so my granddad wrote the song when he was 85, and I recorded the original demo for him back in 2008. And so 18 years ago, I recorded the demo of him singing that, and then went to the Heart of Texas Records, and a guy by the name of Daryl McCall recorded that with a couple of other guys. I forget their names. I apologize. But they put that song out there, and for a long time, I was, when I was gigging, I was just playing that song, my little version of it. But I decided to go ahead and put out my cover.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really happy with the way that it came out. It's a little bit more sad, a little bit more somber version, but it's kind of like folksy, bluegrass, Americana.
Yeah. It's a beautiful song. You guys need to check it out.
So it's called I'll See You in My Dreams Tonight, and it will be on Spotify, all the places.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out, that'd be really cool.
And also share the
it around.
podcast and share his
Yes.
music.
And if you could please drop a review on the podcast, that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
It would help us out tremendously. And again, we thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you on Thursday.
Okay. See you tomorrow.